All right. So I said I was going to you know do a video introducing the Nigerian birth chart. Right. So this is the Nigerian birth chart. Everything here. I drew it out. I got a copy of the chart. I pulled it up. You understand? For those who are trying to understand how I got the birth chart. If you're an astrologer, if you're an astrologer, right? Pull up a chart for 1st October 1960 and put Cancer at the ascendant. I'm not going to tell you the time. If you go and do your research and get the exact time, that's why you're an astrologer, right? Anyhow you want to do, look for a time that puts Cancer at the ascendant. You have a Nigerian chart, at least something to work with. So, I often say on my Facebook, those who follow me on Facebook, I always say Nigeria has Mars in Cancer. My marker became faint. I've used this marker, because I'm trying to educate people. So I think the ink started to misbehave when I was drawing out this stuff. So I think it's bold now. This is the glyph of Mars. The other glyphs here that are faint, like Saturn here, for example, it's quite faint. Yeah, I think it's clear now. Mars is in 4 degrees of Cancer. Uranus is in 24 degrees of Leo. Cancer is a rising sign for Nigeria. For those who have been listening to me say, Nigeria is a Cancer rising sign. Those actually, explains a lot about we as a country. I mean, Cancer is feminine, right? Yeah. But we can't completely say that Nigeria is a feminine energy country because the moon, which rules Cancer, is in Aquarius. You understand? In the Nigerian chart, it's in Aquarius. Nigeria has the moon in Aquarius. So Aquarius is a sign of mankind, the physical man himself, yeah. Humanity, like human beings, is what Aquarius points to. So it's more like it ties into both gender. But if you say Nigeria is a country of feminine energy or pure feminine energy, now say yes, you are correct. The sun is in Libra, which is actually the sign of government. You understand? Nigeria has a sun in Libra, 7 degrees of Libra. Okay, this is where I was going from. 24 degrees of Leo is where Nigeria has Uranus, which is in the second house. The second house is the banking system, although Leo is here, but the second house is the banking system. You understand me? Uranus is network, it's internet, it's disruption. You understand? This instability. You notice this a lot in the banking sector, issues with network. This is the energy that we're having to contend with. You understand? And we look at even the moon being in Aquarius here, right? The moon is rainfall. And Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, is the internet, right? It's connectivity. You understand? Internet, connectivity, network, all that stuff. We notice most times that the rain affects the network. And Chiron is also in Aquarius. Chiron is in Aquarius. Chiron is inconveniences, failed attempts, trauma, wounds. A lot of businesses have, experienced a lot of downside, difficulty, challenges, failed attempts in executing their services properly because of poor internet service. This is indicated here. We need to transform this because this is the 8th house of Nigeria. This is where transformation takes place. And that is telling us that the people are the ones that are going to transform the country. We are waiting for a Messiah to come true. A Messiah is not going to come true. It's the people. This is the 8th. Look at it, it's the 8th. Aquarius is in the 8th house of now. I mean, of course, you know your sign very well. What is in the 8th place of Cancer? I've not done the Cancer video. I just wanted to introduce this before I go ahead and complete. It's just 3 signs remaining. Easy. I'm just going to do them before the end of the month. So I just want to introduce it because towards the end of the month, I'm going to be doing the predictions for the new month. You understand? The current energy for the month is Cancer, which is where Mars is. We've seen a lot of abuse, violence meted out to women and all of that stuff. And the energy for Cancer here, the moon is in Aquarius. There's this big Nigerian former star that said that sister. The moon is sister, is feminine. You understand me? So this month, a lot of women have caught that stuff. The lady that got harassed, at the airport. The moon is airport. This moon is the woman. Airport. Aquarius is a sign of airport. The energy was playing out exactly as it should play out this month. I mean, a lot of things ties into other. Like for example, by transit, Saturn is currently in Aries. You understand? Currently in Aries. Even Neptune too is currently in Aries. So the 10th house of Cancer is Aries, which is the 10th place here, you see. And Saturn is the ruler of the 7th. The 7th is still the government. You understand me? Yes. The 7th house is the government. It's the place that is ruled by Libra. It's the government. So Saturn being the sign of taxation is now in the 10th place of taxation. Everything that Saturn points to is the 10th place. But Aries is also here, so which is the sign of enforcement. You understand? We are going to pay the tax, whether we like it or not. The government is not playing with anybody. You understand what I'm saying? The government is not playing with them. We are going to pay that tax. They are going to enforce it if we decide to want to, carry out military. Currently, the government, the energy of the government is currently in the sign of the military. That is Aries, the armed forces. They are going to use the armed forces. I'm not saying people should not protest. I mean, if you feel like the tax is too much, you want to go out and speak. They are going to be using the military to enforce this tax. If we try to resist, because I mean, of course, Mars is in Cancer, right? Yeah, so which is like Cancer is home. The ruler of Cancer, which is the moon, is there. Which is the moon is even Aquarius. So the tendency for what is it called? The tendency for rebellion against that tax the tendency for rebellion is there. So we might be expecting people wanting to go kick against that, but we go against it now. The military is going to be stepping in. Yes, this is I don't know if I would say it's tyranny, whatever we want to call it. Yeah, that Aries is abuse, and the military, they are going to be very physical when they are enforcing that stuff. If at all we do anything to allow them step in, it's not going to be sweet on us. Because the military is always going to be in our face. Mars rules Aries, and Aries is in the first sign of Nigeria. The first house is the face. If you've watched my video about the astrology of human anatomy, you'll see why I said the first house is your face. Military is going to be in your face, enforcing that tax. They are going to come in arms with their vehicle. The military I'm talking about, it's not just the military. Every arm-bearing sector or any arm-bearing body in Nigeria, be it EFCC, they are all under Mars. You understand? Which Mars also rules Scorpio. The symbol of EFCC is the eagle. The eagle is a Scorpio bird. Are you not paying attention? And their logo has red. That is Mars. Mars rules Scorpio. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So like I was saying, yeah, Pluto is in Virgo, 6 degrees of Virgo. The North Node is in 15 degrees of Virgo, which is funny because the North Node being in Virgo, that's like points to the destiny of Nigeria. The Virgo is work, is slavery. You understand? Nigeria is slaving out. To whom? I mean, Mercury is in Libra. Nigeria is slaving out to a government. Which government? I mean, we have our own government, right? But the ruler of Libra, which is Venus, is in Aquarius, in Scorpio. Scorpio is hidden powers. Scorpio is the sign of hidden powers. This is how the slave system is working for us. Nigeria is a country, a government slaving out to hidden powers that we don't know of. David Onei on Twitter has been talking about these things. That it's here in the Nigerian chart. It has been proven. It's here. All of what we are experiencing in the country is right here in this stuff. The stuff I said about the tax. I'm not discouraging you guys, but if you guys take any step, you need to have this when you're making plans to want to make any protest whatsoever. So Pluto is corruption, and Virgo is the civil service. Yes. Virgo is a civil service. A lot of corruption has taking place in that stuff. And this chart also shows all of the presidents of Nigeria, yes, which I would not really want to get into. So that the powers that be are not going to get offended. But currently we are looking at Taurus. Taurus, I've done the calculation. Taurus is the particular place, which is the 11th house. You understand? Which is the house of chaos, disruptiveness, instability. You understand what I'm saying? And the sign of economics is there, economic instability. We are going to be experiencing it in this government, a whole lot. If it was someone that stuff would have gone well, So the person that was the president before this person, the former president, this was the point that describes him, which is Pisces, Neptune being in Scorpio. Scorpio is death. It's late, right? Yeah. I mean, the first time he got into power, what was the thing like? Was very, very common with him. He was very sick. That's Neptune. Pisces, Neptune. His illnesses, his sicknesses, his diseases. He was very sick. I mean, lastly, he died. I mean, I don't want to say more than that. So, it's there in the chart. You understand what I'm saying? This is fated. So, next up, we have Pluto's corruption. It rules Scorpio, which is, corruption. A lot of power play and manipulation. Pluto is power play, is to quell. It's display of power, display of hidden powers, corruption, manipulations. All these things gone in the civil service. More like the chart is also saying the civil service is the voice of Nigeria. I think more like I really don't fully understand how the government system work. I mean, I needed to read those things then. I needed to read those things then to pass exam then in school. But looking at it now, I really can't place. My mind can't really wrap itself around how the government really works. I think the civil service are the ones that actually responsible for writing the speech of the president, somehow like that. Because look at Virgo here, it's even indicated in the chart, which is the third house of communication. So the civil service, is responsible for reporting, all that stuff. So a lot of manipulation goes on in that realm. The sun is in Libra. Mercury is also in Libra, which is like which is also the planet of reporting and all that. But Mercury and Venus is currently in the sign of Leo. You understand what I'm saying? Mercury and Venus are in the sign of Leo, which is funny because I'll come back to it. When I was putting this chart together, my mind was running through a lot. There was something I, was, calculating here. Okay, I was calculating the fact that the ruler of Aquarius, which is Uranus, is currently in Gemini, which is the 12th house. You understand me? It's currently in Gemini, which is the 12th house. So, Uranus is a sign of 4. Uranus is a sign of 4. Uranus is a sign of 4 from great heights, greater impact. That's what Uranus is. Analyzing the 12th house. 12th house is religion. So you're going to be seeing, the media is going to be reporting the fall of so many religious heads. You understand me? Which is Gemini being the media. The ruler of Gemini, which is Mercury, is in Libra, including some government figures too are going to fall. You understand? And it's going to be televised. You are going to see it in the media. But currently now, Mercury is currently in Leo. Leo is the sign of content creation. So when you look at this lady whose sister had an accident, a big mass company, we all know the person, had an accident, and she was online talking about that stuff. Well, Uranus being the ruler of Aquarius being here now, then the ruler of this guy by transit, currently she'll be making a lot of content about the follow-up on that stuff. If she doesn't even turn it into content and start, getting people's sympathy, really. Sympathy, which is still this 12th house. Because that's where the current ruler of this thing is. She's going to be getting a lot of sympathy. Charity, people are going to be, coming through for her. People are, she's going to be receiving some charity stuff like that. But currently she's going to be making content with all that stuff, which is where Mercury currently is now in Leo by transit. So going forward here, Venus is in Scorpio, Neptune is in Scorpio, which is the 5th place of Nigeria. You see? So the natural energy, the 5th house of the country, points to death. A lot of presidents that have died, which is actually Venus is the sign of the government. And Scorpio is power. A lot of government, people in government have really passed on a lot, to be honest. They've really passed on. They've actually passed on a lot. And there's a lot at this point. So anyways, when I start doing the monthly readings, right, I'm going to be getting into a lot of this stuff. So Jupiter is in Sagittarius, which is clear. I mean, it's currently in, what is it called? Jupiter is currently in Cancer now. And those who follow me, I told them, look, there's going to be flooding. This is a planet of things, overwhelming you, of things, going overboard. The sign of this, the planet of things blowing out of proportion is in the sign of water and rainfall. And I told people that our energy for this month is Cancer. There's going to be a lot of flooding, and it happened. That is what the energy is saying for us this month. It's going to be flooding. Jupiter has been in Cancer all this while. We didn't feel that energy until the energy rode here. And the way I calculated the month, don't worry, you're not going to know. You're not going to know, don't worry. But yeah, I'm telling you, this is what the energy is, and I'll break it down for you. You see the energies play out. I mean, that's not the only thing that play out, because a lot of all these other motions are playing in. But the center of what is playing out is coming from the particular place that is the energy for the month. So every month I'm going to be doing monthly predictions for what is going to be unfolding in the country. Right? So like month end, I'm going to start my first episode. This is just an introduction. You see. So Jupiter is in Sagittarius, which is the sixth place, right? And then Saturn is in Capricorn. So Saturn is restrictions, limitation, pressure, hardship. This is the nature of the government of our country. You understand me? This is the nature of the government of our country. Taxation. Now, this taxation is about to go overboard because it's currently in the 10th place. It's currently in the 10th place. But Saturn being here is going to be opposing the Sun in Libra. So the taxation thing is going to be seeing there is going to be a lot of contention as regards to that taxation. Stuff are going to be coming up. You're going to see it in the media, which is Mercury there. There's going to be a lot of things written on in the media. Whether the government cares to listen or not, a lot of stuff are going to be written on the media. I mean, this one is something that happens now. This is something that actually happens. You see. And this is the ruler of the second house. The second house is the banking sector. You see. And with Saturn currently here right now, throwing. It's currently somewhere here, but it's within the orb. The opposition is within an orb because the Sun is in 7 degrees. So I think Saturn should be somewhere. I think it's out of the orb. I think maybe an orb. I use like an orb of 5 degrees at most. But those are up to like 7. We still say that it's an orb, so we can still consider that. You understand? So this is currently throwing an opposition, which the banking sector is where these things are going to. The heat is going to be. The government is going to be having issues with the banking sector because of this tax issue. But I mean, I'm just saying, let's see how it goes, right? Let's see how it goes. So that's Saturn. Saturn is building, is development, is demolition. It's demolition, it's hardship. The nature of our government. The nature of our government, hardship. And back to this particular place here, you see. Transformation of Nigeria is in the hands of the collective. It's in the hands of the people, which is the 8th house, which is where Aquarius is in the 8th house. For this country to change, there has to be a lot of revolution. There has to be serious revolution. I mean, on Facebook, Asha Foundation has been saying that stuff. And looking at the charts, I don't know where they draw the information from to conclude that. Maybe it's just something they feel that is the only thing. I mean, they do a repeat of astrology. So I think they summed it up that because we are in the age of Aquarius, that the only way to kick out a government that is not really favoring the people is to carry out revolution, which is what Aquarius is. Rebellion, revolution, protest. You understand? Yeah. So our energy for next year, our energy for this year is actually Scorpio. Next year is going to be Sagittarius, which is quite funny because if we roll over this energy next year we are going to roll over this energy. And the timeline that is the next year that we are going to roll over this energy is 1st of October this year. When we roll over this energy, and Jupiter is still going to be in Cancer, this energy, Sagittarius is the sign of the education system, which is ruled by Jupiter. And being in the place, the planet of action, strike. You understand? There's likely going to be strike in the education sector. It's likely going to be strike in the education sector, but let's watch out. And this particular strike is, Mars is going to be very heated up, very, very heated up. You see, which is another thing here. Because if you look, okay, now that Saturn is currently in this place, this whole taxation thing now, this whole taxation thing now is falling in the first house. Because this is where Mars is. You understand? Everybody, every nook and cranny, everybody in Nigeria is going to be in your face. You understand me? What I mean is going to be in your face. Small things you buy, you're going to you're going to see the deduction in the money that you send for it. That's what I mean by it's going to be in your face. It's going to come close to you. You know that it's not that one they will say, and it will not reach you. This one will reach you, you will see it. And Jupiter being there, you know, the education system is going to affect. So a lot of students are going to be affected by this. You understand? A lot of students are going to be affected by this. You know, the education system, something around the education sector. This taxation is going to be affecting it because of this placement of Jupiter here. It's going to be affecting it. You see, so what else am I looking at? And then in this same place is Chiron. I think I talked about it, which is the trauma that we experience. You understand me? The people being traumatized. You know, issues of death, accidents, you know, disruption, whether in poor internet service, whether conflict within each other, wound, emotional wound, financial wounds, because Uranus is in the second house, which is finance, you know, because Chiron is there, so this is the wound. Chiron is the wound. That is Chiron being in 28 degrees of Aquarius. The moon is 16 degrees, Saturn in 12 degrees. I didn't mention all of these degrees. Jupiter in 26 degrees of Sagittarius, Saturn in 12 degrees of Capricorn, 16. The moon is 16 degrees of Aquarius, Chiron in 28 degrees of Aquarius, Neptune in 7 degrees of Scorpio, Venus in 4 degrees of Scorpio, Mercury in 28 degrees of Scorpio of Libra, the Sun in 7 degrees of Libra. You know, so all this I've mentioned, you do not know the 15 degrees of Virgo. You see, so Nigeria having Pisces in the ninth house. It's religion. If now remember I told you people the place, you know, where the things that a person indulges in. Religion. You understand? And the planet that rules spicy, which is Neptune, is in the sign of extreme, Scorpio. Extremism of religion. Obsession with religion. Obsession is Pisces and Scorpio. And that's where Neptune is. This is where we go overboard. We just lose our brain, everybody. So this is where that stuff is. This is the energy of the country that I'm reading here. There's so much to touch on, but because this is an introduction video, I'm just, you know, going to leave all that stuff. And even consider that the sign of economics and the banking system is in the 11th place, which is the place of chaos and disruption, disruptiveness and instabilities. Is there economic instability? Even the time Uranus was here, we experienced a lot of economic instability. It was almost as if some banks were going to pack up. 2, 3, 4 days, 3 days. The eyes have seen 3 days. No network. Very, very poor network. You see, so these are the things here, honestly. And another thing, Gemini being in the 12th place. The 12th place is the undoing of a team. Gemini is the sign of brotherhood. You understand what I'm saying? Gemini is the sign of brotherhood. What I mean, brother, you know what I mean? Cultism. Yes, because a lot of spiritual stuff are involved, the initiation and all of that stuff. That's what the 12th house is, the spiritual activities, a lot of all that stuff. You know, the hidden activities of brotherhood, cultism, this is the undoing. And the media too. The media being, you know, the media can be, let me see, the media, you know, Mercury is in Libra, so the government, you know, having their hands in the media. More like gagging the media, kind of, if you understand. If you understand what I mean. And, you know, dictating actually the undoing of Nigeria too is the media. Let's just calm down on brotherhood first. The media reports things, deception, lies and deception. The media is constantly reporting that. That is the undoing of Nigeria. Constantly misinforming the people. You understand? Because it gets geeks from the government. It's right there in the chart. Look at Mercury in Libra. Libra is the government. And Libra is also money. Yes, Libra is also money. you know. So this is the Nigerian chart, right? And the 10th place of Nigeria is Aries, which is the highest potential of 18. War, conflict. And this is where we go, this is where we go. This is our this is our highest point. This Aries. You know. But on a higher level, if we use this point, we can detach, we can be like, to hell with whoever, you know, is trying to dictate our story to us. Because Aries is the loner, goes alone. So we can just decide. We can get up one day and decide to be a country that have it, you know, and do something about it, you see. But yeah, we need our women. Back to this particular placement. We need our women. We need our women, whether we like it or not. We need our women. Nigeria is a cancer rising country. Women need to play a major role in this country. This is why most of the women that have been in positions, you know, to do something, they've always been transformational. Is it the one of NAFDAC? Is it, you know, you understand what I mean? The transformation that women have brought is a very key energy in the country that we need to look at. So like I was saying, for this country to change, you know, it's revolution. It's revolution. So yeah, I mean, even while we're at it, Chiron being in that same sign, we cannot really guarantee because Chiron is failed attempts. So how do we navigate this energy? It's not everything I will say now. It's not everything I'll say. Yes, we can navigate that energy. You understand me? Can navigate that energy. So, or Chiron being there is the people can gather now, and some people can just be singled out of it because if you understand that Saturn also rules Aquarius, and Saturn is in the 7th house, so the government can just pick out some people and tell them, say this, spoil that movement, that protest, just call the protest, shut down that protest, say this, and just find some other boys, sort them money. Tomorrow you just go, you will have 2 voice, 3 voice. The whole movement is going to scatter. That's Chiron there, which is failed attempts. That is the astrology that points to failed attempts. You see, so there's a lot to talk about in this chat. But I just want to do this introduction, right? So yeah, this is the Nigerian chart. As much as I can keep the introduction as simple as possible. For those that don't understand astrology, that's why I'm reading the way I'm reading it. So yes, this is the Nigerian chart. Like I said, the introduction to the astrology of Nigeria. I'm going to be doing other episodes talking about these things and describing the nature of the energy that we are going to be dealing, we are going to be experiencing as the month goes by. Like next month, for example, there's going to be a lot of disruption in the banking system. Perhaps the banking system will want to like upgrade their system to, you know, to be able to start deducting taxes and, you know, all that stuff. That's another thing too that we also need to also have our mind in. You know, but yes, it's going to be a lot of disruptive survey. But I mean, my next video when I'm going to be talking about it, I'm going to go deep into, I'm going to, you know, really go into details of how next month's energy is going to be. And when it comes to, you know, the 2 monarchs in the southwest that are having issues, it's funny. It's funny that they are having issues because I was kind of looking for where the indication was. Okay, Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is in the sign of Libra. Libra is contention in any measure between 2 parties. So, but I really don't know what triggered that stuff. Maybe because Cancer was active, because Cancer is also ruled by the sun. Yes, in Hellenistic astrology, Cancer is the feminine docile of the sun, the feminine domicile of the sun. So, you know, I have a concept of where a planet, a sign that is ruled by a planet that rules on that sign, activates both signs. You understand me? Say for example now Saturn is currently in Aries. I guarantee you Scorpio is active. If you think I'm playing, don't pay tax. You're going to see the extreme that the government is willing to go to enforce that thing, which is the sign of Scorpio. Extreme. You know, I just hope some people don't lose their life in the protest because you are going to want to overreact. Why should I pay this amount of tax? Power. Please, so let's be careful. You know, let's be careful. So, let's be careful. Let's be careful, please. So, It's a whole lot too. I'm just going to keep it simple, right? Yeah. So let's be careful out there. A lot is really not looking good for us. There's hope. If we are ready, this we can navigate this thing. But so yeah, that's the introduction to the astrology of Nigeria. So many more informations are going to be coming up in the future too. Yeah. So yeah, peace.